Modern sales leaders are operating under a glaring contradiction. They're required to accelerate go-to-market motions and scale revenue targets immediately, all while navigating a strict, non-negotiable freeze on hiring. It creates a structural tension. On one side, relentless pressure for hypergrowth. On the other, an absolute ceiling on acquiring new personnel. This tension exposes the flaw in traditional enablement. Tasking a few individuals with supporting dozens of leaders, products, and regions causes that central node to buckle. The downstream effects are immediate. Training goes untouched, expensive technology sees zero adoption, and reps miss quotas. When the volume of incoming requests permanently exceeds the human capacity of the team, working harder cannot overcome that structural deficit. Beyond sheer volume, modern sales environments require highly specialized interventions. Redesigning a complex onboarding program, optimizing a fragmented tech stack, or executing advanced behavioral coaching requires specific expertise that a stretched, generalist team rarely holds. This creates a paralyzing operational vacuum. Leadership identifies the exact strategic initiatives needed to drive revenue, but the company simply lacks the internal bandwidth to execute them. And because the budget is completely locked, leaders cannot pull their way out of this trap through traditional recruitment. Breaking this bottleneck requires abandoning the traditional concept of adding permanent payroll entirely and finding a new mechanism for execution. To survive the scaling paradox, leadership must change how they view the enablement function, transitioning into a model known as enablement as a service. Rather than treating enablement as a fixed internal silo, it restructures it into an on-demand, scalable external capability. Instead of waiting 6 months to approve, source, and hire a full-time generalist, companies are deploying targeted micro-teams. These units assemble hyper-specialized experts, an onboarding strategist, an LMS architect, and a sales coach, into a cohesive module. Bypassing corporate onboarding entirely, it drops directly into the most severe operational bottleneck for a highly focused 4 to 8 week sprint, executes the strategic objective, and neatly detaches. It surgically resolves complex challenges with speed and precision, completely bypassing the administrative friction of permanent payroll. The financial impact of this specialized approach is highly measurable, with macro-level evidence compiled by Forrester Research. This chart visualizes the trajectory of sales teams investing heavily in enablement. Compared to the baseline, these teams experience a 13% acceleration in rep ramp time, alongside a 17% increase in win rates. Stacking these improvements drives a 22% overall improvement in quota attainment. We see these metrics translate directly into live environments. Take a recent SaaS company trapped by an outdated onboarding process, with reps consistently missing quota and an absolute prohibition on new hiring. By deploying a dedicated micro team into that failing environment, they reduced rep ramp time by 30% in just 90 days. In a separate case, a quick strategic audit allowed another client to triple their content utilization within 8 weeks. Deploying targeted, temporary expertise consistently yields a faster, more measurable return on investment than attempting to hire permanent generalist staff. Enablement as a service functions alongside internal teams, rather than replacing them. These external teams act as force multipliers. They surround the existing internal staff and remove the operational red tape slowing down key initiatives. This type of scalable support becomes a strict requirement for survival during high-stakes corporate transitions, whether integrating teams during a merger, executing a massive reorganization, or launching rapid go-to-market shifts. The deployment begins mechanically, starting with a diagnostic readiness conversation to isolate the exact bottlenecks strangling revenue flow. To scale successfully today, business leaders must shift their perspective. It is time to stop viewing enablement as a static headcount constraint and instead treat it as a scalable capability that can be adjusted precisely as the market demands.